Spurs lose game 2 to the Portland Trailblazers, and they lose Wemby. Hey, welcome back to Spurs In Focus right here on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Podcasts. Pick a platform. We are there wherever you get your favorite podcast. You can find us and subscribe right now. Don't forget about the Substack, Spurs In Focus Substack, completely free, everybody. No charge. Well, there is a charge. You hit subscribe and the bill goes right to our guest. Like, seriously, you just hit subscribe. He picks up the tab for you. So the first 5,000 people who subscribe, our guest is going to pay for it. He doesn't know this news yet. I'll break the news to him in a few seconds here. I am Jeff Garcia, longtime Spurs writer in San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Well, the Spurs drop game 2 to the Portland Trailblazers at home. Series is tied 1-1. We all know the big story. Wemby goes out in the first half. Concussion protocols are in. We're going to be talking about that. What are our general thoughts about the loss in game 2? Standout stats, standout player, and what was the turning point of the game? I think we kind of know what that turning point is, right? Let's go to bring in our guest, everybody. He is back to help me look back at game 2, Mr. James Pledger, San Antonio Spurs Star. I heard he was voted the sexiest radio producer in San Antonio. Is that true?
I was not aware of this, but if I have been, that's a pretty low bar to clear.
He's at low bar, everybody. Follow him on X at I Am Pledger. He is host of Extra Innings on San Antonio Sports Star. He's going to brag about the Star later on in this episode. As you can see, he's still at work, so we're going to try to get him out of here quick because he needs to go and maybe drown his sorrows in a game 2 loss. Yeah, look at him. He's already pulling his hair out already. James, let's talk about the big injury scare first. We'll get into the game 2 loss. Victor Wembanyama goes out in the first half.
What?
Concussion protocols set in. He smacked his face right on that court. He closed his eyes. His eyes like glazed a little bit, laid there for a while. Teammates tried to move him a bit. He left under his own power to the locker room. Needless to say, he did not come back. James, real quick, before we get your thoughts on this, Mitch Johnson after the game did say that Wemby is in the NBA protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Say it. So there's a chance he may not play in game 3. We'll see how that transpires. James, your thoughts on, a pivotal moment in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Blazers jumped out to that big lead early, and I didn't really expect that with Wemby getting his trophy on the court and the celebration and everything. So I was thinking, Spurs are going to jump out early on them. They end up coming back, and then Wemby smacks his head on the floor. And at first I was like, oh my God, did he break his jaw?
Yeah.
Because he hit kind of his jaw on the floor more than his head and temple. But it was such force that you're right. It stunned him. It dazed him. I thought he'd be okay. When I saw him sprint back to the locker room, I thought he was just going to kind of get, checked out. But if we're going through it, him going into the concussion protocol severely puts into question his available for game 3 on Friday night. So clearing the concussion protocol in that short a time is going to be iffy. Now, I know this in the NFL concussion protocol. It's not exactly the same, but, there still is a litmus test. What if he has a bad reaction to light, or if he's still having headaches? These are things that, baseline barometers, he's going to have to clear in order to play. And it's a very, very short turnaround to be able to do that, playing from Tuesday to Friday now? No, Wednesday.
Friday. Yeah, Wednesday, Friday, yeah.
It's like, where are we?
Yeah, you might have a concussion right now.
I might.
Yeah, it's not, look, if the Spurs were to set out Wemby, well, they probably have no choice if he doesn't play on game 3. That definitely gives momentum.
The good news is he does have, this injury happened late Tuesday night and, kind of early evening Tuesday. It was 8 o'clock, maybe?
Yeah, 8-ish, yeah. 8-ish, yeah.
And so he's got from 8 o'clock Tuesday night until 9 8:30 Friday.
Okay.
So he does have a good, at least, buffer to at least try and get there. It's not like they're playing in 2 days. So he's got at least a nice runway to try to clear this if it is a minor concussion.
Yeah, and Wemby was another player getting banged up throughout the night. Harrison Barnes, hand injury. Dylan Harper, a hand injury. So somebody must have put a hex on the Spurs in game 2. Probably was Bill Simmons, right? With his little taunts about Spurs and
Who brought out the eggs?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, James, you got a carton over there? Because, man, we're going to need them. Yeah, but Wemby's out again. Even after the game, it was on the thoughts of Mitch Johnson, as mentioned earlier. He did admit it, that Wemby does have a concussion.
And that's the thing people miss is like once the injury was announced, like he was in concussion protocol, that meant he had a concussion. He wasn't being evaluated for a concussion. He was in concussion protocol, which means he had a concussion. He's now in protocol. He has to clear the steps to get out.
Got it.
So, I mean, Mitch could have confirmed it, denied it. We'll see where it's at. Yeah. The fact that they stated he is in concussion protocol meant he had a concussion and now has to clear the steps to exit it.
Yeah, crossing fingers that there'll be not many steps and he is cleared to play in game 3. All right, so that aside, let's talk about game 2 loss. Your San Antonio Spurs, as mentioned, did drop one to the Portland Trailblazers, 106-103. Tight game throughout, despite the Spurs losing Wemby. It was nip and tuck. I got to start off with this. I did not like the fact that the Spurs mounted a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, only to blow it. They were seemingly in cruise control. My first thought was, this is exactly what the Spurs do without Wemby. They thrive. They're okay. They can survive. They can keep their heads above the water. But they did not. They saw that double-digit lead evaporate. Thanks to players Scoot Henderson, Williams. You pick a Blazer, they were getting on the Spurs. Even Holiday. That stood out for me. That was something I did not like to see, James.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, to say the least, but that's kind of playoff basketball. And the problem is, if your offense is predicated around ball movement, good to better, better to best, and the shots aren't falling, that's where a player like a Victor Wembanyama, that's where a De'Aaron Fox should have come in. That's where, that's the reason you have superstars, because when everything else is going wrong, get the ball to your bucket maker and have him go make a play. And that's, that's why the Rockets made the big trade to go get a Kevin Durant, because they were the number 2 seed last year, if you remember. And then they lost to the first round of the Warriors, and they couldn't, kind of get through that hump of that big jump they took. And it was because the offense bogged down without having a go-to scorer in critical moments. Yeah. And it felt like as that lead started to slip away, the critical moment was trying to find the guy to take over.
Yeah. And the Spurs did not have that. More on De'Aaron Fox in just a bit. Yeah, I got a bone to pick with him too. Look at the little things too. In the second half really is where things were kind of shaky for the Spurs. Points off turnover. Blazers had 13 and Spurs to the Spurs 6. How about just shooting from the 3 line? They looked phenomenal in game 1, didn't they? Not tonight, or last night, I should say, in game 2. In that second half, James, the Spurs go 1 for 10 from the 3 line, while their perimeter defense allows the Blazers to connect on 6 3-point shots in the second half. It was nip and tuck, though. I mean, you look at it, just rebounds. Spurs had the rebounding edge in the second half, 26-21, but
didn't feel like it.
It didn't feel like it, but you look at the facilitating, you mentioned passing the ball around. In the second half, Portland had 11 assists to the Spurs 6. Those little extra assists, those little extra things, James, is what makes the difference between a win and a loss in the postseason. And even though the Spurs lost, I like the fact that maybe this young core got themselves a lesson in playoff ball. Your thoughts?
Yeah, but the problem is they should have lit last night, before. Like before this game, the Timberwolves take game 2 in Denver and flip home court. You saw the Hawks take home court away from the New York Knicks. That should have been your red flag warning right there is, hey, don't let up, keep your foot on the gas, pedal to the metal, don't let these teams back into games because they would, I mean, same thing. Hawks came back from 14 down in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left to beat the Knicks. I mean, those the Nuggets had a huge first half lead. It looked like they were just going to truck the Timberwolves, and they battled back, hung around, weren't put away. Those should have been lessons that Mitch Johnson all day on Tuesday should have been stressing just through practice and getting walkthroughs once again in pregame and then at halftime again. Like, just, hey, look, they're hanging around. You every time out like that. You gotta stay with it. We've seen this. We saw it yesterday. They will steal home court from you if you let them. And the Spurs did not heed the warning given to them the day before by previous teams that let big leads slip away late to lesser opponents.
Right. The start of the game, too, told me a lot. You know, when the Blazers just jumped on them early, I mean, they had a massive double-figure lead. And after the game, Mitch Johnson did say that this team did not have the same energy as in game 1. He did say they did not have the same poise as in game 1.
Because the shirts weren't the same.
The shirts weren't there, yeah. He also said that there was a little bit of fatigue there. And I can see that. You know, trying to play winning ball as long as they have after the All-Star break. Yeah, that's how much they've been winning since the All-Star break till now. That wears on you playing that high level. Well, they played that high level throughout the regular season. Now they got to up it another notch. And this is a young core that doesn't have that experience to see what it takes to up it a notch a bit. We saw that. Yeah. We saw that translate itself in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, you've been told the playoff intensity ratchets. You've now felt that it ratchets. And let's be honest, if you don't realize that every possession matters more in the postseason, that people, like, once they get down 14, 20, that you're only guaranteed 4 games at a time, right? It's the first to 4 wins. No team is punting a game, no matter how big they're down.
Exactly.
And so they're going to bring the intensity with each and every, and they're probably going to fight harder the further down they get because there's a tomorrow for these teams, but with every loss, that tomorrow becomes lesser and lesser, and you're not just going to be like, all right, they got us this time, let's get ready for the next one, because there's very few next ones guaranteed in the postseason.
James, where did the defense go in that fourth quarter when the Blazers go on a 7-10 run on San Antonio? Not only just evaporated that 14-point lead the Spurs owned, but my good, they were just shredding that Spurs defense. Williams getting easy buckets at the rim. Scoot playing like the number 2 pick that he was touted to be. You know, at least in one game he showed up. The list goes on and on and on. Drew Holiday being that savvy veteran, you know. Look, I know this is a Spurs focused show, but my God, when he grabbed that rebound at the end of the game, and I thought he was going to go for a layup, but no, what does he do? Runs it out. And the Spurs were like, whoa, what's going on? You know, we're supposed to foul him early. And you see those seconds falling off fast. And he does that extra pass. More seconds come off. That kind of stuff, man. I think the Spurs learned a big, big lesson. But that defense is like, what was it, 3rd, 4th defensive rated team in the league? Man, it didn't show itself in that final frame, though. But you brought up a name that I want to talk about. Oh, boy. Mr. Clutch a few years ago. I think that's what they call him, James. De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, let's put him on the screen there, everybody. Yeah, there he is. Let's look over his numbers in that fourth period where the Spurs needed him the most. I'm gonna go up here, guys. It just was not good. I don't even know why we should even put this up there, man. Maybe Spurs fans start burning his jersey or something. But in that fourth quarter, he scored 4 points. He goes 2 for 3 from the free throw line, and he goes 1 for 6 from the field in 10 minutes. Good for 16% shooting in that fourth quarter. Played good. 5 points to start the game, 2 points in the second quarter, 6 points in the third. So far, we're good, right? And then where they needed him most, fails. Fails in that moment. Man, I really thought that was the perfect moment for Fox to show why the Spurs were eager to make that deal with Sacramento. Here it is. Be that veteran. Be that co-star. You're the guy. Wemby's out. What happened, James?
I think we're all wondering that. This is the guy that, like you said, this is the reason you brought him in. He's supposed to be the guy that can take some of the load off when Wemby is either hurt or being tripled. Like, he's supposed to be the guy that makes you scared to double down on Wemby and do the other things because of his ability to score and just get to the rack and open things up for everybody else. And it just wasn't there in the fourth quarter, and he struggled with shot selection, just you name it. It just wasn't there. Turnover. It was a very, very poor fourth quarter, not just for the Spurs, but in particular for De'Aaron Fox. And unfortunately, that's one of the things. And there are people that still tried to, trump it. Like, Wemby's great. He's ascending. Fox is still the best player on the team. He's not. And he needed to be the guy that stepped up in the wake of Victor Wembanyama, and he just didn't. And, I mean, more power to guys like Devin Vassell, who I thought stepped up pretty well. And my goodness, that last shot at I thought it was going down.
Me too.
Like, I truly thought, like, it left his hand. I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah. It looked good. It looked clean. It looked
so good.
For the game now, De'Aaron Fox was a minus 14 for the Spurs in 33 minutes. For the game, he shot 6 for 16 from the field, good for 37% shooting. Now, he did score 10 points in the second half as opposed to his 7 points in the first half, 17 points for the game right there. But, he missed 2 3-point attempts in that second half. Just when the Spurs needed him to show up, he did not show up. I suspect if Wemby does not clear the protocols, what a game that he could have and redeem himself in game 3.
He has
to have that redemption game. What do you think?
He absolutely has to have it. If Wemby's not playing, this is why you were paid the max that was allowed to you. Don't make us regret the decision for paying for you. Like, the trade was the trade, and what you gave up wasn't that much in return for a player of what De'Aaron Fox's caliber is, and even what he's been to this point this year. Now, does every player have a bad game at times? Sure. Did he have a bad quarter? Absolutely. Do I think this is a trend? No. It was he wasn't the only one that had a bad quarter.
That's true.
So
exactly.
let's put a pin in the De'Aaron Fox hate for a little bit, but he's the reason, though, that you gave him the money. This is the reason that you made the trade. This is the reason that you went out and made this move and just said, all right, Harper, Castle, Fox, we're going to make it work. Like, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't mean that Fox isn't the point. He's still the point. He's still the starter. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So he's got to have a bounce back, and I think he will.
I think so.
But it's definitely brings into question, like, the whole, man, did we made a mistake. And you don't want to jump to those
don't want to go that
rash swings, quarter-to-quarter performances, but it was definitely a spot where the Spurs needed him, and he didn't rise to the occasion at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. No. I mean, you're right, though. Even though he should be the guy in focus because Wemby's out, there were other guys that you needed to step up because of Wemby being absent. They start off with Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson only played he played 17 minutes. Off that bench, 4 rebounds. He went 3 for 7 from the field, good for 42% shooting. All right, fine. He's not a starter anymore, but he could have needed a lot more production from him too. What about Harrison Barnes? Again, I know he got hurt, but in 15 minutes, 4 points, 1 for 3 shooting from the field. And Julian Champagnie, now that's the guy I thought was going to step up, and he did for a minute. He did. Finished with 9 points. He was a minus 14 for the Spurs for the night. Goes 3 for 4 from the field, and from the 3 line, I got it here, goes 2 for 3. So basically, you're right. Yes, it wasn't just Fox, but he is the guy. He is your co-star. He is the co-lead. He is the guy that rises to the occasion when Wemby's up. The insurance policy didn't cash in at all.
But I will say this. He's supposed to be the co-lead. He's supposed to be the other star. He's supposed to be the Batman or the Robin to the Batman that is Wemby. Is he?
That's a good topic for another episode. I could not think of a better way to take a pause right here. When we get back, we'll give our overall thoughts. We'll get a little more specific, right? We're going to look at some of the standout stats that we like, standout player, maybe from the Blazers side, maybe from the Spurs side, and then all that and more. Coming up next, right here on Spurs in Focus.
This is Optimus Prime. I urge you to subscribe to Spurs in Focus. The fate of the world is at stake.
We're back right here on Spurs in Focus, joined by my good friend, Mr. James Pleasure, with San Antonio Spurs Star 94.1. He is on next at I Am Pleasure. We are looking back at Game 2 loss for your San Antonio Spurs. The series is tied up after the Blazers picked up a 106-103 win in San Antonio. Yeah, so we gave you all our overall thoughts. All right, let's get a little more specific here. James, let me ask you, what was the turning point of the game? James, you're the guest. What is the turning point? Well, what was
it? It would be easy to say Victor Wembanyama's injury.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
The Spurs were doing just fine without Wemby for a good chunk of that game. The turning point was that 22 to 6 run towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, the offense went into a shell. They couldn't buy a bucket. It felt like they couldn't get a rebound at times, especially when they came up with the big stops, forced an air ball. Robert Williams crashes inside of Vassell and gets that easy putback to put them up by 102-101 at that point, and that's kind of where the whole game kind of shifted. But for me, it's that final 4.5, 5 minutes that the Spurs went just kind of in a shell, offensively and defensively for that matter, in terms of just the inability to get those clutch rebounds, to finish off those possessions, whether it was offensively or defensively. That was really the turning point of the game and why the Spurs are now 1-1 instead of 2-0 heading to Portland, in my opinion.
Yeah, I had that at the top of my list. I had that Portland Trailblazers run in that fourth. But just to find something else here, for me, it was that possessions, plural. What are they, like 3-4 possessions in a row? And they did not capitalize whatsoever. A rebound goes to the Spurs way, nothing. Another rebound goes to the Spurs way, and nothing. It's not like the Spurs were not getting to the free throw line, James. In that fourth quarter, they got to the line 10 times. They were 80%. Well, the Blazers only went there 4 times in the fourth period. So they had their opportunities, but nothing summed it up more for me than those empty possessions they had. It was like the basketball guys were saying, here you go. Here is your opportunity. I'll give you one chance. I'll give you a second chance. I'll give you 4 chances. And they came up empty. James, that possessions was pretty bad.
It's brutal. It's something we hadn't seen a ton of from the Spurs, or at least if we had, they find a way to kind of finish out after something like that happened. But it's just part of that. You wonder, a young team starts getting tighter and tighter.
Oh yeah.
Do they start getting tighter and tighter as it starts getting closer and closer, and the score starts chipping away, and the shots just continuing not to fall, and it sometimes those snowballs can have an effect mentally, and that's part of being a young team that you have to learn to fight through.
Yeah, exactly. All right, James, let me ask you a question here. Let me get it ready for everybody here. Who was your no, what do you want? You want to do a stat or you want to do a player? You pick. You're the guest.
We'll do player first.
Okay, fine. Let's see who is our standout players. James, take it away. Who's your standout player for the game?
It is one of the top prospects of the 2023 NBA draft.
I had a feeling you're going to go this route.
Was it Scoot? Was it Wemby? Who's number one? Well, Scoot balled his ass out today.
He did.
I mean, he goes out 31 points, 11 of 17, 5 of 9 from 3, and just showed the reason that he was considered at least of consideration. It was small consideration. It was laughable consideration of which of the two should go number 1 overall. But he showed why he was a part of that conversation coming out of the G League Ignite.
Yeah. And even to close out the regular season, he was kind of finding his rhythm, finding his groove, and dropping 18 here, 20 here.
Drew Holiday had a big help with that, having that veteran guard to kind of bring him along, and you saw it kind of start to take its effect as the season went on, and he became more and more comfortable because he kind of looked like a bust.
He did. Yeah, he did for a while. And as impressive as it was his scoring, I liked his defense. I was like, whoa, okay. He's ratcheting it up. Even the 50-50 balls, the little things, he was doing all that and more. Yeah, that's a good pick there. For me, I'll go with the Spurs. All right, everybody. I know James picked the Blazer. I'll pick a Spur. All right, I'm going to go with, at least for me, a back-to-back pick. That is Luke Cornett. Wemby goes out, and Luke Cornett for me, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists in 27 minutes. He was a plus 11 for the Spurs while he was on the court. He goes 4 for 5, shooting from the field. And, grabbed 5 offensive rebounds. So he almost work for the Spurs without Wemby. And he's showing that championship medal that he does have, that deep playoff experience that he has. And once again, for me, he is my standout player. Look, if Wemby doesn't go, I feel pretty comfortable knowing that Cornett will be in that starting unit in Game 3. Quickly about that center spot, though, after the game, Mitch Johnson was asked if he's still going to stick with Carter Bryant as a backup big. Mitch Johnson just say they're going to have to reevaluate that heading into Game 3. You got freaking Mason Plumlee there. Use him for something, but God's sakes, man. That's a big boy right there. That'll clog up the lane.
Sure, but I mean, I don't think I understand the panic after losing one game to the Blazers, but let's not throw Carter Bryant out with it. I mean, he still had 7 points. He was 1 of 2 from three. It's not like he had a horrible game. I mean, he's dealing with bigger bodies than Robert Williams and Jeremy Grant. And, it's a tougher defend for him being a rookie, but at the same time, it's not like he played horribly. He was 35 from the field. He gave you some spark, and I don't I don't think his defense was terrible.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're benching everybody for the way they played defensively, we're not going to have much of a team to put on the court on Friday.
They got you, James. Don't worry. They're going to call you up in the Star. They're going to get that call from Mr. GM over there, Brian Wright. So you'll be good. You'll be good. All right. Let's find out what our standout stats are. All right, James. Either side, Portland side, Spurs side, there's some stats that really caught your eye. Like, whoa, that's pretty good. Or maybe, that's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Hit me with it.
The stat that caught my eye over all the other stats, blocks. Ooh. Portland, 11, San Antonio, 5. And obviously a big part of that is losing Victor Wembanyama as early as you did in that game. But the fact that it wasn't just that the Spurs only have 5, it was that the Blazers had 11, which meant your guards trying to get to the rim or having a tough time finishing amongst the trees of whether it was Donovan Clingan or Jeremy Grant or Robert Williams, the Time Lord. Doesn't matter. The Spurs had a rough time getting into the paint and finishing, and the Blazers were just sending it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Blazers brought that defense. And if you look at them during the regular season, they were tops in the league when it came to offensive rebound, defense, just rebounding in general, second chance points. They do all those little things to get wins. And that showed throughout game 2. For me, a standout stat that I think will probably just bite the Spurs once they settle in and look at what happened in game 2 was, I guess you say, the lack of impact that guy had, Denny Avdia. I really thought Denny was going to go ballistic once Wemby went out. And for the game, he had a pedestrian night. 14 points, well below his standards. In 29 minutes, 5 for 13 shooting from the field, 38% shooting from the field goal percentage, I should say. -1 for the Blazers. Didn't really get to the free throw line at all. 5 times he goes to the free throw line. So I bring these stats up because I feel like this is something that the Spurs are going to be like, okay, fine, we lost Wemby for the game, but we had Denny under control. We had him there, and the opportunity was still there for the Spurs to lose.
So I bring this to you then.
It feels like, man, that's an opportunity slipped through their hands again when their star player was not really there.
All right, I'll bring this to you then. Do you have to make an adjustment going into game 3? Because Denny went off in game 1, you win pretty easily. Do you need to let Denny? Do you need to spend less focus on Denny and more on everybody else? Let Denny get his while the rest suffer.
Yeah.
Kind of the old Kobe rule. Let him go get 40 on 20, 30 shots, whatever it was. And as long as the ball's in his hands, nobody else is touching it.
That's something on the table I think the Spurs got to look at. If you look at game 2, it was the other guys that got the Spurs. Obviously, we mentioned Williams. It was Scoot big time. Yeah, it was that Saturday veteran Holiday. It was just a little bit. Clinging with this space and rebounding. So, yeah, that's definitely something on the table. Again, that's all caveated if Wemby does not play for game 3. But, he's going to want to – you were talking about Fox having a rebound game. He's going to be itching for a rebound game. In front of his fans, in front of their Portland crowd, you can expect Denny to come out firing. So, game 3, you got to wait a little while. Friday, by the way, get your coffee ready. It'll be not 9:30 tip-off on Friday. So, yeesh.
No, I thought you meant – I was like, they didn't win.
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully, I mean, look, before I let you go, James, you surprised it's 1-1 right now? Is that a little?
Yeah. And even without Wemby, I'm surprised. But the Spurs should have won this game, had the game, let it slip through their fingers. And the fact that the Blazers jumped out early the way they did, I didn't see that either. That Wemby getting his trophy, being at home, being in front of the fans, I thought he was going to feed off it. and the Spurs were going to be the one that was going to jump out and try and put Portland to bed early. And this game kind of went exactly opposite of everything I thought, from the early jump, who got it, to the late collapse.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Yeah. It was the Spurs not setting the tone. It was the Blazers setting the tone. So that's a big adjustment that they're going to Spurs have to do in Game 3. But we'll get into all that in a future episode of Spurs in Focus this week ahead of Game 3. He is Mr. James Pledger with San Antonio Spurs Star on X at I Am Pledger. I think they're bragged on 94.1 The Star. Why should everybody go be tuning in, YouTube, wherever else you guys show y'all's work? What's going on over there?
Because the Spurs are still playing meaningful basketball right now, which we haven't had in 7 years. So it's good to be able to talk about stuff like this and react on a daily basis to what's going on, what we hear from the locker room, and everything that's happening within the Spurs. But, what is it? It's Wednesday?
Yep, Wednesday.
Jerry Jones speaks today.
That's right.
The Cowboys, they have a draft tomorrow. They hold 2 picks in the first round.
Guys are busy.
It's the fun time of year. And, I love, as much as I love the NBA draft, the NFL draft is probably 100-fold. Like, I just rate that up. And so it's a fun time to be a sports fan.
What just James just talked about right now, you get all of that and more. I mean, they have the extra innings with that gentleman you see on your screen right now. He wraps up the day at the Star, 94.1. Follow him on X at I Am Pledger. Go to their YouTube page, probably the best way to do it. San Antonio Spurs Star. Just search for it on YouTube.
So I know.
Subscribe, and easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as that guy from The Walking Dead would say with good old Lucille. Intimidating.
When are we getting our Doomsday trailer?
I thought. Oh no, you should be a AI generated one. That's right. Yeah. You should be.
No, but like all the leaks, because it was at Cinecon or whatever, they showed it.
Oh,
it sounds awesome. I can't wait to see it.
I missed that. And after what you showed me, that AI was the one thing, I said, okay, I go like, this is how desperate fans are right now. We'll put together our own, but I didn't know it was really coming out soon.
Well, I don't know how soon it's coming out. They've had this thing under lock and key.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, before why? Look, my first love in my nerdom has always been Star Wars. Says okay, it'll be my number one. But why is this
Shadow War so good?
Mando and Grogu. Sorry, with Maul is phenomenal. It feels like something's off with Mando and Grogu. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm excited to watch it because I just don't know what they're gonna do. Like, what are we doing?
But isn't that the fun part? Not knowing for once.
I mean, it's like, here's Doomsday. We know what that's about. It's about Von Doom, his rise, his power, Secret Wars. We know it's
sure, but we know what it's adaptive.
Yeah,
this is a whole new series. There's no comics, there's no prequels, there's no books, there's no novelization of it. There's nothing to base this off of. So it is all new, and therefore we don't know what's going to happen. There's no loose adaptation that they can follow. It is its own entity that will be a surprise when we all get to see it. And I kind of like that about it. That's kind of the great thing about the show The Mandalorian in the first place. It was just so expertly done by Favreau and all the different directors with the Western motif and themes that it had throughout. The second season was still pretty good. I think it's kind of tailed off in 3 a little bit, but like, can the movie get it back? Can they get that magic back? And there's nothing to base it off of. So I think that's kind of why you feel I don't know, is because you truly don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I cannot wait to see it. I'm going to see it either way. I'm a big nerd, so I'll definitely buy my ticket. But number one for me on my movie list this summer is definitely Masters of the Universe. That's number one for me. Second is actually Street Fighter.
Yeah, that looks pretty dope.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you caught this in the trailer for Street Fighter, but what it was considered one of the Mount Rushmore anime fights of all time, which is Chun-Li versus Vega. I mean, that considered one of the greatest fights in any anime era.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're going to adapt it. I don't know if you caught that in the trailer.
I did. I saw a piece of it.
Okay, so, if you're listening to Street Fighter directors, do not fumble the bag. It's in. You can watch it and then just whatever they do there, just duplicate that. Don't do your same thing. I bring back, because remember in Batman vs. Superman, as bad as it may have been, they could have salvaged it with the epic fight. And how do you leave out the iconic line?
Yeah.
I want you to remember the man that beat you. And they did not. Good. We had an impromptu nerd segment here, everybody.
We always do.
We added here. But James, thank you again for joining us here on Spurs In Focus. We definitely appreciate it. Again, follow him on X at I Am Pleasure. Do that right now. Everybody else, we'll be back tomorrow as the Spurs playoff continues. Gotta wait a little bit on Friday, but it'll be here sooner than you know. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. You've got Amazon Podcasts. Pick a platform. You'll find us there. Remember I said he's picking up the tab for the first 5,000 subscribers to Spurs In Focus on Substack. Do that right now. Deplete his bank account. Once you hit subscribe, the bill goes to him. So do that. I know. Look at James. That's why James still at work.
He'll be broke.
We're going to make him be broke. He'll gladly pick up the check. He'll gladly pick up the check. Thank you all so much. Go subscribe right now. So for Mr. James Pledger, I am Jeff Garcia. Now you're in focus with Spurs In Focus.